Hello everyone, this is Satish Kumar. So I am here with my continuation lesson on communication. So in my previous lesson we learnt about the direction of communication, and in this lesson we will learn about the methods or types of communication. There are two major ways of communicating. Okay, one is verbal communication, the second is non-verbal communication. In the verbal communication there are two methods. One is oral communication and the other is written communication. Non-verbal communication is nothing but expression, body language, signs and other things. Okay. First we will see these communications in detail. So first we will see the verbal communication, and in that verbal communication first we will see the oral communication. See, oral communication is still considered to be one of the chief means of conveying messages. Okay. What are the ways of forms of oral communication? For example, speech that I am giving now, this is a oral communication. I am speaking orally. Okay. Formal one-on-one. You could meet a person. See, a teacher in a class giving oral communication to 50 students. There may be also an interviewer speaking to one interviewee, one-on-one communication. There may be group discussions held in an organization to make a decision. In such a case, it is a some 4 or 5 members or 10 members will assemble and they will communicate among each other to come up with some decisions. That is also oral communication. Then there is this informal communication, that is in an organization somebody communicates with somebody for friendship's sake or for some rumor or gossip, for such kind of communication. Okay. All these are done by oral communications. Okay. As I said earlier, this is one of the chief means of conveying messages, and the biggest advantages of oral communication is speed, because you directly contacting the person and communicating with them. Okay, oral communication. The second major advantage is that is very important, you get immediate feedback. Okay. See, if I am communicating to somebody in a person, okay, if I am communicating to a person, okay, and the person says to me, if the person does not understand what I am saying, okay, he could immediately ask a question. He could give a feedback, sir, I don't understand what you are saying, can you please clarify? I may give him a clarification. He will get a clear picture. So the feedback mechanism is there. So he could convey whether he got the message or not. So that is one of the biggest advantages of a oral communication. And we could get a response in minimal time. So face to communication is still considered as one of the best way of passing information. Okay. But it also has its drawback. Okay. Suppose if oral communication has to pass through a number of people. Say in an organization, as I said earlier previously also, there will be hierarchy. So I want to communicate something to a floor level employee at a machine in the factory, but I am working in the organization management level, administrative department. I will communicate it to my subordinate, and he will communicate it to the production department manager, and the production department manager will communicate it to his subordinate, and his subordinate will meet the concerned machinery department head, and he will communicate it to the particular employee. So it has to go to multiple channels in a formal hierarchy. Okay. So what happens is, when a message is conveyed through these kind of steps, multiple steps, there are always possible for distortion in communication. Okay, if it is done by orally. So I may say to my employee, please pass certain messages. I may say to my subordinate, please pass certain messages to that particular production department. He might have missed one of the information. Okay, I may have given some 5-6 information to pass. He might have given 80%, 90% of the information, but miss a few. Because of his missing few, the information might not be correctly received by the production department, and the production department itself, they might have missed certain information. So, an incomplete information can be received. I will give a classical example. See, this is this example I gave about is organization. There are also other personal examples. Okay, say I want to convey. I want to call a friend by mobile. Okay, I am communicating to him orally. Okay, so I am calling him, but I could not get him in the line. One of his subordinate or somebody, a friend or his family members or somebody is taking his mobile. Okay, so they are attending the call, and I am saying to them, I have to speak to my friend, can you kindly call him. They say he is not here, can you pass me an information, I will pass that information to him. So, I am saying that information to them. Okay, and I am also giving my mobile number to them to contact me. Okay, I am also saying where I am working and all these details to that person. Okay, that person got all this information by orally. Okay, when I am speaking in the phone, he didn't note anything. He thought he could have it in his memory. Okay, my friend's relative take. Okay, so when my friend came, no, that relative, what he did was, he was trying to convey that message, but unfortunately he forgot my number, phone number. He thought that he could have kept it in his memory, but he missed. So he is saying to my friend, hey, he said something like 98433012, I don't know man, like that. And he also not giving the complete information of about my name. His name is something like Suresh, like that. My friend is doesn't even know who called or what is his number. So there is a distortion. Okay, this kind of things will happen in oral communication. If it is a message that I have sent to them, no, they like a written communication, this kind of things cannot happen because it is in a record format. Okay, so this kind of distortion or noise could happen in the oral communication. This is one of the barriers of communication. Okay. Okay, so we saw what is oral communication and what are the advantages and what are all the disadvantages. Now we will see the written communication. What are the types of written communication? Written communication includes sending memos, sending letters, sending emails, sending instant message, WhatsApp message these days, sending some notices, sending some bulletins, sending some pamphlets, and a whole lot of things written or printed format. Okay, all these things could be sent. Okay, and as I said earlier, no, these kind of messages are tangible and verifiable. Okay, both the sender and receiver will have the information and record of the communication. Okay, and the message will be stored. Okay, if I am sending my WhatsApp, the message is there with me, you will also have the message, and the number will be very clearly there. They need to memorize. Okay, and quite frequently these kind of written communication are used for when a message is lengthy and the message is very complex. Okay, see, when small communication we can orally communicate to somebody, but if we have to give very clear picture, we or a big message, we have to write down. It is better to give a written communication so that they will have the time to read it and understand it. Okay, so one of the biggest problem is when people write down, they will think it very clearly how to communicate, and as a result, this kind of communication will be far more logical and clear than the oral communication. Okay, See, I am giving a lesson today about oral communication. Okay, I am speaking to you. You are only seeing my face. Okay, I am speaking. But when I am speaking, no, I I'm not I may I may speak a lot of things. Suddenly, in between, I may even say something which is not even relevant to this. Okay, I may not have a well thought out structure. Even though I am having a thought out structure, there are still a lot of things in between. In between, I'll add in oral communication. But when I'm writing a written communication, if I am going to give you a communication lesson by written form, I will only put very important things, and I will very logically, consciously and orderly write all those things. Okay, and you will get a good picture. Okay, hence written communication also have certain advantages. It will be very logical and clear, but here comes a disadvantage also. Since it has to be written like that, no, a written communication will take time. For example, if I have if I could give some information in just 10 minutes, I will have to write that same thing for 1 hour, because it has to be thought out and it has to be very logical and clear, no. So generally people know when they write, no, they will take much care, but when they speak, they will speak whatever that comes to their mind. Of course they will have some plan, but still there will be some extra things added. But if I am writing, no, I may not write all these things that I am speaking. I will write only what is relevant to communication and what is relevant to written communication and what is relevant to the advantages and disadvantages. Okay, when I am speaking, I will add some here and there, certain words, certain things like that. Okay, so all these things will be avoided, but at the same time, to make this kind of logical and clear communication in a written communication, it will take time. Okay, and the second disadvantage is there is no feedback. There is lack in feedback because the communication is sent by written format or by letter or some email like that. Okay, quite frequently, if the receiver wants to ignore or the message, what he will do is he will say that you send a message, I didn't see. See, quite frequently I encounter this. If I am sending a message by WhatsApp to a certain person, no, if that person doesn't want to read that message or call me, no, or doesn't want to reply something like that, no, what he will say is he won't even consider seeing it. And after some time when I meet him, I say, I sent that the other day that message, no, what he'll say, you sent a message, I didn't see, man, like that. So there is this chance of ignoring that message, so we don't know. And there is also lack of feedback because that person has to read that, and sometimes he may not even understand it fully carefully. So if you have any doubt, no, he cannot clarify. Those are all the disadvantages in the written communication. So he has to once again write, or if he have to come again and meet you face to face to clarify things. So there are certain disadvantages. Okay. Also, these kind of things, that a message that is sent is received or not. Okay. Once I ask a person to send me something, okay, that person said he will send by my post. Okay, it is a certificate, a very important certificate. I don't know what that guy did. He actually looted or something. He just sent me a cover with nothing inside it, without the degree. I did a personality development course. For that I got a degree, and it was in Madurai. That was in Madurai college, and I asked one of that person who studied with me. He is an elderly person. He studied with me there, and he actually said that, in fact, I asked the department head, my personality development head, to send me to by mail. He gave it to that person, and that person he sent by courier or something, but he just sent only cover, there was nothing inside. So these kind of things could happen. Okay, sometimes the receiver may not receive the message. Sometimes the sender they may say, I have sent an email, kindly look at that. But if you see that these kind of things are not for part of written communication, but these kind of things may happen. Okay, so that is what I am saying. Okay, now we will see the non-verbal communication, very very important. Okay, see a communication without non-verbal part is not a complete communication. Even when I am doing a oral communication, if I use certain non-verbal methods, it will be more effective. What is non-verbal communication? It is body moves, body movements, or intonations. So raising or subduing our voice, okay, facial expressions, and when we are speaking to a person, maintaining some space or being close to that person, these kind of things are all considered as non-verbal communication. Okay, see, when you see giving me lecture, when I am speaking with enthusiasm or some important topic, I will often use my hands to give some sign like this. Okay, similarly I will use my facial expression to say something or to say something, this kind of expression. All these kind of expressions gives meaning, kind of will add meaning. Okay, see, there are plenty of actors, but why Shivaji Ganesan was considered as the greatest actor? Because when he speaks a dialogue, he will give the correct type of body expressions for that dialogue, the correct type of facial expression, the body expression. In fact, when he is playing a mridangam, he will do something like that. So he is communicating that he is playing mridangam. So his body movements itself says that, like that. So when I am giving something important, a fact, a very important fact, I will stress. Sometime I will speak slow, sometime I will pause. All these methods will be very important for a communication to be effective. So non-verbal communication will also be part of your oral communication. When you are doing a oral communication, if you add this kind of non-verbal part, it will be effective. Okay, for example, politicians are all very good at non-verbal communication, that is body movements. When they are speaking in the public rallies, you will see speakers, they are very good at this kind of body movements. You will see the Modi or Seaman, these kind of leaders, they will use these kind of signs to make this inspire their followers to arouse feelings or emotions on their subordinates. Some leaders are very good at that. Their emotion, their facial expression, their tone. சீமான்லாம் பாருங்க அப்படின்னு கத்தி கத்தி பேசுவார். ஓகே, அதெல்லாம் கிண்டல் பண்ணிலாம் கூட போட்டிருப்பானுங்க, மெமோ போட்டிருப்பானுங்க. பட் தீஸ் கைண்ட் ஆஃப் திங்ஸ் ஆர் வெரி வெரி எஃபெக்டிவ். Okay, and we also, when in a classroom lecture, it is very effective when we use these kind of non-verbal communication, non-verbal communication methods in adding. Okay, some people are very very good at this. Okay, using their facial expression, their body movements to convey messages. Okay, some people when they speak to others, they will actually maintain some distance. It means that they don't like that other person. Some people will come very close. Okay, that means they like that person. Okay, a body movement itself gives a understanding what it they means. Okay, their tone, whether they are what they are speaking, what they are communicating, their tone will, if they are angry, their tone will be different. If a manager is angry, his tone will be different, and he has to be show this kind of tone variation to convey his anger. That என்னையா பண்ணுறீங்க, இதே மாதிரி பண்ணிட்டு இருந்தீங்கன்னா பாருங்க அப்படின்னு சொன்னார்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க, it means that he is very angry. Okay, so we can express different emotion by this kind of non-verbal communication. Okay, we have to take note of these things, okay, and use these things appropriately to communicate effectively. And when we are speaking to someone, no, we also have to notice these kind of non-verbal cues to understand what they are feeling. If someone, when you are speaking with someone and that some person is not listening to us, or if he is concerned to leave but he could not say to us, no, he will quite oftenly watch like that. He may inform us that he have to go to some place, like that he will politely say. We have to understand that and we have to leave him rather than unnecessarily speaking to them. That is not effective communication. Okay, so all these things are part of communication. So only then, when your verbal communication, that is your oral communication, when it is combined with your non-verbal communication, that is your body movements or your some facial expression and other things, no, it will be more effective. Okay, and we also have to notice the body movements, non-verbal communication part of others also. Okay, if somebody is angry, if a worker is not interested in the work, no, he will show it by his bodily movements, facial expression. A manager has to take note of it. He should not expect that the employee will convey that message to him. Okay, a lot of things. Okay, when we are communicating news to somebody, if that person is willing to take that message, you know, he will enthusiastically, he has the right bodily expression, right facial expression. If he is not interested but he could not convey that message to you, know, he will show some displeasure in his facial expression or his body movements. A manager has to take that. Okay, all these things are part of it. For example, if I am giving a classroom lecture, some of the students may not like my lecture. They may not say to me, சார் நீங்கள் போர் அடிக்கிறீங்க சார் அப்படின்ட்டு யாரும் சொல்ல மாட்டாங்க, இந்த ஸ்டூடெண்ட்டும். ஏன்னா அப்படி சொல்ல முடியாது வாத்தியார்கிட்ட. ஒரு சிலவங்க சொன்னாலும் சொல்லுவாங்க, பட் இருந்தாலும் என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறீங்க, இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் காட்ட மாட்டாங்க. அவங்களுக்குள்ளே பேசுகிற மாதிரி எதாவது பண்ணுவாங்க. அப்படி இல்லாட்டி வேறு என்ன பண்ணுவானுங்க, ஏதாவது அப்படி ஏதாவது, இல்லை ஒருத்தன் இப்படி குனிஞ்சிட்டு இருப்பான், இந்த மாதிரி எதாவது பண்ணுவாங்க பாடி மூவ்ஸ். அப்போ என்ன பண்ணுவோம், அவன் இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் இல்லைன்னு ஒரு வாத்தியார் உடனே புரிஞ்சுக்கணும். புரிஞ்சு டாப்பிக்கை மாற்றணும், இல்லை இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட்டாக ஏதாவது செய்யணும், அந்த மாதிரி ஏதாவது. ஸோ all these things are part of communication to be effective. Okay, so with this I end this lesson. In my next lesson we will learn about the barriers of communication. Okay, very important part. What are the barriers and how to overcome the barriers of communication? Two are the very important part of communication. Okay, bye.